just because, again, this is something that people hear about and is thrown at you all the time, is carbon-14 dating. Carbon-14 is made when you have cosmic rays striking nitrogen in the upper atmosphere. That forms carbon-14 that then breaks down over a half-life of 5,730 years back into nitrogen. But while it's carbon-14, it combines with oxygen, forming carbon dioxide. Plants take up carbon dioxide. Animals eat the plants. And so, everything comes in and gets a little bit of carbon-14. Now, carbon-14, again, breaks down with a half-life of about 5,730 years. And when Dr. Libby came up with the idea of carbon dating in the 50s, his primary assumption was that the rate of decay and the rate of it being produced were in equilibrium. There was a creationist that wrote him a letter and talked to him actually several times, and Dr. Libby, aren't you aware that it's, all the studies that are being done shows it's not in equilibrium? He says, yeah, I know that they say that, but they have to be wrong. And why do they have to be wrong? Because if you start out with an atmosphere with no carbon-14, you start bombarding it with cosmic rays, within 30,000 years, it would reach the equilibrium. The rate that is being made, the rate that's being broken down would be the same. And so he said, well, I know the atmosphere is older than 30,000 years, so it has to be in equilibrium. There's no question about it. Well, they have continued to do studies, and now we know it is not in equilibrium. Carbon-14 is being made about 25% faster than is being broken down. And you can actually do the calculus on that and say, okay, how old is the atmosphere? And it comes out to be about 10,000 years. Now, you can also still do dating using carbon-14 if you take the non-equilibrium into account. Again, you have to use calculus. I've forgotten all my calculus, so I couldn't do it. But if you do that, you find out that nothing alive, nothing that you date is older than 6,000 years. There was a massive die-off about 4,500 years ago. What happened 4,500 years ago? Noah's flood. And that there's been a gradual increase in animals since that time. Now, carbon-14, again, has such a short half-life that it shouldn't exist after 100,000 years of decay. And carbon-14, with the current techniques we have of detecting it, cannot date anything older than 60,000 years. If you go more than 60,000 years, you cannot detect that with our current instrumentation. And the other thing is that and you can only date living things. And before the flood, there was a lot more carbon-containing material. There are a lot more plants, because all of those plants now became what? Coal and oil. Okay? So they thought there were probably 100 times more carbon present before the flood. And all of these things, the fact that the carbon-14 is not in equilibrium, the fact that there used to be a lot more carbon in the world, all of those things tends to make carbon dating make things look older than they really are. And the current ratio of carbon-12 to carbon-14 is about 1 trillion to 1. So you can see they're measuring very small amounts of something. But they've actually, there's something called the RATE project. I don't know if anybody's heard of the RATE project, but it was done as a group of scientists that were gotten together by the Institute for Creation Research. And they actually went and carbon dated things that shouldn't have carbon in them. Because if you were an evolutionist and you have a fossil, let's say you find a fossil, a tree, and there's still some wood in it, but it's a layer that says it's 20 million years old or 50 or 100 million years old, would you carbon date it? No, because it's older than 60,000 years, and therefore it can't have any carbon-14 in it, right? Okay? Oil. Oil is supposedly, again, 50, 100 million years old. Should it have any carbon-14 in it? If you were an evolutionist, would you even think about trying to date it with carbon-14? Diamonds. Diamonds are 3.5 to 4 billion years old, supposedly formed in the very early stages of the Earth. Would you expect to find carbon-14 in a diamond? No. Guess what? Everything that they test has carbon-14 in it. So what does that mean?
That means older than 60,000 years.
Everything that they date it has to be less than 60,000 years. So again, and they've actually now found soft tissue in dinosaur bones. They have blood vessels, they can see blood cells, and they've actually dated the carbon-14 dated the soft tissue in dinosaurs, and it's present, and guess what? That means that they're all less than 60,000 years old. And radioactive dating, radiometric dating is used for dating non-sedimentary rocks. And it's very interesting, if you use radiometric dating to date a rock that you know how old it is, it should be a test of it, correct? I mean, if I know this rock is this old, and I use radiometric dating, if it's accurate, it should give me the correct answer, correct? And if it doesn't, can you trust it? Well, there are multiple lava flows that they have tested that they know how old they are, and they get the wrong ages every time when they test it. Mount St. Helens exploded on May 8th of 1980. Anybody remember that taking place? Well, there's a lava dome that formed in the crater of Mount St. Helens, May 18th, 1980. They dated that with multiple different techniques, but with potassium argon, they got an age of 2.8 million years on a lava flow that was formed in 1980. And so every time you have a chance to test radiometric dating against a known age of a rock, it gives you the wrong answer. So is it dependable? Is it credible? I would say it's not. So I guess we'll just have to postpone everything else. But just to kind of give you an overview of evidences, for the Earth. There are multiple evidences that the Earth is not young. And the more you look, the more you study, the more obvious it becomes that the Earth can't be old. The Bible says it's not old, so therefore it's not old. So science should fall in line with the Bible. Correct? Any questions? I know I went really fast. Anybody have any questions? Any comments? Dr. Moore, you're stupid? No. So thank you very much. So did anybody have any questions? Did I answer all the red